Now it's CSL, Charlotte Sports Live.
Right now, this very instant on Charlotte Sports Live, former Panthers quarterback and #1 pick Cam Newton had some interesting thoughts on current Panthers quarterback and fellow #1 pick Bryce Young. Why he says Carolina may have some buyer's remorse. Hello again, everybody. Cam may not be Bryce, but may the fourth be with you. Welcome to Charlotte Sports Live. I'm Mike Lissette. He is Gabe McDonald, and we have got just a little bit of everything tonight.
Yeah, the force is certainly with us. We do. Charlotte FC back in action tonight. Grace Grill will be joining us shortly from BOA. Today was also the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. Plus, we're getting you ready for tomorrow's ACC Lacrosse Championship here in Charlotte, as well as the Hurricanes. They're getting ready for their second round series with those Rangers. But let's start with those lads over at 800 South Mint Street, Mike.
I like that plan. You got two teams really needing a win. Charlotte FC loses of 2 straight. Portland hadn't won in almost 2 months. First half, Brown had their chances. Yuri Tavares with a great find. It's Nikola Petkovic. He's all alone. It was his to miss. Oh, boy, did you do just that. It was a 0-0 game at the break. Second half, just when frustration was setting in for the fans, the dam finally broke. 54th minute. This time, Petkovic would not be denied his first career goal. He did it with his mom and dad in the stands. 1-0 Charlotte. Jump ahead to stoppage time. A major malfunction here from the Timbers. Enzo Capetti able to steal the bad throw-in. He's got space. Now he's got a goal. That, believe it or not, is first this season. Charlotte gets a much-needed win as they take it 2-0. Grace Grill has more on what went down. All right, thank you very much, Grace. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to Dean Smith earlier this week, and you get the sense he was not panicking, despite the fact the last 2 games were not at all good for them. Yeah. And I think this is why he's a good coach. It's because, you know, he was like, listen, we're doing the right things. Eventually, it's going to turn into wins. And tonight it did. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, he mentioned just being aggressive and limiting their chances. 15 shots for Charlotte to only 6 for Portland. So that was really one of the big things tonight because we knew Portland's defense. He had talked about it earlier this week, how their goal differential is very slim. So they're playing solid on that end of the line, but they were able to get through on the back line, get some good shots there in the second half, and also 5 shots on goal as well. So I think just them getting back to what they do best is being able to control the attack and make the most of their chances. Of course, you wish you would have had that one early in the match.
Yeah, and you bring up that point. And we were watching it at Bank of America Stadium tonight, and I thought after they had those 3 chances in the first half, plus the call that went against them that would have been a penalty kick,
after that,
I remember thinking, this is going to eventually snowball and be problems. They're going to give up, and they never did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, does it good on Dean Smith for them to be able to make those adjustments, come out in the second half, and get a much-needed win. But let's continue to look ahead at Charlotte's upcoming schedule.
From a derby to a derby, including myself, there's a lot of people kicking themselves tonight for not even trying to bet on the Kentucky Derby. Now, granted, there was no way of knowing an 18-1 horse would win, but man, had I taken the chance, I would have been a lot richer tonight.
It is Mystic Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16. Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These 3 coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's a photo of the Derby.
Whoa, doesn't get much more exciting than that. Photo finish, and there on the inside, Mystic Dan, you can't even see it was that close. He gets the win, holding off a late charge from both Sierra Leone and Forever Young. The crowd had to wait several minutes for things to get sorted out. Mystic Dan's jockey, Brian Hernandez, who also rode yesterday's winner in the Kentucky Oaks, called it the longest wait of his life.
It's hard to describe what kind of feelings this is, you know. I always told myself I was never going to step into the Derby winner's circle until I can do it on the back of a horse. So now to be able to live that dream that when I was a 6-year-old kid riding my bike around my grandparents' farm telling them all I was going to win the Kentucky Derby one day, and here we are.
Yeah, here you are. In 150 years, this was just the 10th Derby to be decided by a nose. Now, Mystic Dan's connection has to decide if they're going for the Triple Crown. We got the Preakness leg number 2 coming up 2 weeks from today.
See if you put some money on that one. Will former Panthers quarterback Cam Newton?
I think at the moment it is. I think the fact of the matter is the only thing that matters is the win total, is the potential. And right now, we don't really have a good sample of that things are going to get better. Now, that's not to say that they won't.
Sure.
And the other thing is this. there were a lot of factors that went against Bryce last year. There were
true.
injuries, there was a coaching change, there was the initial coaching staff that really didn't put him in the best position to win. So, again, there's a lot of, it's like yes, asterisks,
Right.
you know, because it could get better.
And you even got to look at it here with C.J. Stroud. Will he have that same success that he had in Houston? I mean, you have to look at what they had around him offensively with some veterans, a coaching staff. D'Amico Ryans, a guy who played in Houston before, very passionate. So there are a lot of different factors on both sides of the spectrum. So obviously, Bryce Young, you look at what the Panthers are able to do this offseason, year two, things could get better. Could get worse. I mean, you just never know. But I think it's a little too early to tell as far as this. But Cam does have some points either way. So we'll just kind of see how year two plays out for both these quarterbacks. Well, let's move on.
Okay, we finally know the start time for tomorrow's game between the Rangers and the Hurricanes. As announced today, this Stanley Cup second-round playoff series will begin at 4 p.m. in New York City. Game 2 will also be at the Big Apple before the series shifts back to Raleigh for games 3 and 4. Carolina is playing New York for the second time in the playoffs in 4 years, with each team winning a series. Because of that, the Canes know this matchup is not going to be easy.
Obviously, one of the best teams in the league, and they got good talent offense. They got great defense, and obviously awesome goalie. And so as you do, it's going to be a good match, and I'm excited to play with them.
Obviously, you go farther you go. You play teams who already beat their first rounds, and it's going to be a tight match. Obviously, they're a great team.
Yeah, I got to be honest. This is not a matchup that I think the Canes are going to win. I think the Rangers took 2 or 3 in the regular season. I think they have confidence. As a matter of fact, they even said the fact that they beat them the last time they played in the playoffs, that gives them the blueprint for how to do it again. And I don't know. If I'm a Canes fan and if I'm a Canes player, I'm a little nervous about this.
Yeah, it's going to be a doozy. I'm expecting this one to go 7 games. I mean, you have the 4th and 5th best scoring teams in the playoffs so far. Obviously, Carolina averaging 3.8 goals. They had 12 different players that have scored goals so far, so a pretty well-balanced attack. But New York, on the other hand, they have the best goals against defense right now through the postseason, and their save percentage, .930 as well. So it's basically going to be, can Carolina's offense take advantage of the chances, the very few chances that the New York defense will give them. This is going to be a series that I think goes 7 games, and the winner of this one could emerge and possibly host that Stanley Cup here pretty soon.
Carolina, again, they know this might be it, so they're going to lay it all on the line.
Absolutely.
It'll be a good series. Well, still to come, we got a lot, including this.
Yeah, I feel like we're...
All right, back here on CSL, time to send you to bed with our QC crowns. Michael, who you got tonight?
My crown is going out to the Knights. I loved the way they celebrated May the 4th. Take a look at the uniforms here.
Okay.
Mandalorian inspired, and in front and center, that's Baby Grogu.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
However, unlike in episode 6 of the original trilogy, there was no happy ending for the Knights as they would lose to the Memphis Redbirds 9-2.